the matter of the King children, file 24177.
All right, we are on record this afternoon pursuant to a request for a bench trial filed by Mr. Dustin King. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Good afternoon, Nicole Underwood, lawyer guardian ad litem for the minor children.
Sasha Thomas, counsel for the department.
Christopher Farian for the department.
Michael Brooks, I represent the respondent, Dustin King. Mr. King,
Dustin King, the father.
Thank you.
of the
Counselors, thank you. Counselors, any opening statements?
no,
Yeah, I'll wait.
I'll wait open.
Okay, let's get into testimony then. Your first witness, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Deputy Recon to the stand at this time.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
We are on YouTube this afternoon. I thought we were a couple of participants on there. I thought I saw Ms. Madrid, so I just figured I'd let you know.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Deputy. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Deputy Jesse Rincon, be Jesserincon.
And Deputy Recon, where are you employed?
Lummi County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been a deputy there?
A little over a year now.
Sorry, see if I pull up my notes there. Deputy, do you recall an incident on November 21st, 2024 in Morenci, Michigan?
I do.
And to the best of your recollection, what were you called to that incident for?
I was called to the address of 10520 Hickory for a domestic assault that was called in by a third party.
And who were the alleged perpetrators or participants in the domestic assault?
The perpetrator would have been Dustin King Sr. and the victim was Kirsten Miller.
And what were the allegations against Mr. King at that
It's
time?
alleged that he used a can to assault Kirsten.
And did you, upon your arrival to the Hickory Street address, what did you observe?
When I arrived, I was unable to locate anybody immediately. We made contact with Sharon King and asked her to have Kirsten step out. And from there, she stepped out with the children. Well, two of the children. They came around the front of the home from the back. We were asked not to go in the back. So when she came around front with two children, neither of the two young children had coats on or shoes or socks to be there barefoot. So.
Recall how the temperature or the weather that night?
I do. I believe I had central dispatch log the temperature at the time. I believe it was 38 degrees to the best of my knowledge. And it was extremely cold and windy and wet.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
I'm gonna, the discovery here for the police report dated 11/21.
I've seen him in black and white. I haven't seen him in color. You can look at it too.
Sorry, Your Honor. Deputy Recon, I'm going to provide you with some pictures here. Yeah, I don't have a good way of showing the court or the photos. So this is gonna be a little clumsy, but I was just planning on asking him to identify what he saw and then I asked the court to accept them as
Any objections?
No, Your Honor,
Ms. Underwood?
No objection.
Okay, go ahead.
but can I ask one small favor? We move that device to the
Yes,
other
yes.
side of the lectern so I can see the witness.
Absolutely, sorry about that, Mr. Brooks. Deputy Rincon, those photos in front of you, do you recall, well, let me ask, do those photos in front of you look familiar?
Yes,
And why do they look familiar to you?
because I was the one that took them.
And can you please describe to me where you took those photos at?
I was at the residence that I was called to that night for the domestic assault on Hickory.
And is that the residence where Ms. Kirsten Miller had stepped from the back to the front with the two children?
Yes,
And this is the same residence where you observed the two children without coats, socks, or shoes?
yes.
And in those photos, well, can I ask, why did you take those photos?
Because I was extremely concerned for the welfare of the children and the living conditions that they were in, due to the temperatures and the unsuitable living conditions. I mean, I don't think anybody.
You were asked not to go into the backyard. Are those photos of the backyard?
Yep.
How did you gain access there?
Reason we went back the second time was we were trying to locate the suspect. We determined we had enough probable cause to go to the back of the home to attempt to locate him. That's all we went back there for. Aside from that, we went back there. As soon as I went back there, we were trying to locate him. I took these photos to show the living condition that the children were in, which that's what I just believe that I need to document it, so.
What made you believe that the children were living there?
At one point, I spoke to one of the small children. I didn't have a name for him exactly at the time. And I asked him, I said, "Where are you living?" He goes, "Here, this is where we live." So
When you took those photos, were you able to locate any like heat source? For the,
no, I wasn't able to locate any heat source. I wasn't back there strictly for that, specifically for that. I went back there briefly, made a quick documentation. I did not step inside the tent once I determined Dustin King was not in there. Once that, we backed out, and that was the end of that.
in one of those photos, there's photos of a young child. And it looks like maybe the feet are being looked at, or with Miss Miller there. Is that the condition that you found the other, if there were two children, is that the condition that both children were in?
Yes, in the one photo, you can see both children's feet. That was my main focus. It showed the most signs of being cold.
Now, you stated that you did not see Mr. King at this site, correct? What made you believe that he knew that his children were there?
That was his primary residence at the time. We were there. We dealt with him multiple times there, and we are called there. So I mean, we have a long call history there. And Kirsten, I believe, after a brief conversation with her, she knew that he was there. She just wouldn't tell us that Dustin King Jr. was there. So.
And at this time, I'm going to ask the court to accept these photos marked as petitioners 1 through 10, or if the packet wants to mark as petitioners 1, the court would like to do that.
One, that's fine. Objections?
I thought I already said no objection.
That's confirmed. Thank you. Record should reflect, I have received the packet of photos. Thank you.
Deputy Rincon, you had just mentioned something that I didn't plan on asking, but you just stated that you're familiar with this residence. Can you give us a little more about how often you've been called to this residence?
Personally, I've been there probably 3 or 4 times myself. But if you review our call history with the central dispatch, I can't even count how many times we've been there. We're there all the time for whether it's domestics or civil issues regarding the children, the other mother.
So you were familiar with the parties involved, is that fair to say?
Yes, I will say that this is my first time meeting Dustin King, seeing him in person, because every time we respond to the home, he's never there. Or at least unable to locate him at the time.
When you arrived, you were able to physically see Miss Kirsten Miller, correct?
Yes.
And did she have any marks on her body as a result of a can of vegetables being thrown at her?
Yes.
And can you describe what you saw?
Off the top of my head, no, I remember she had an injury that I documented. I didn't have enough time to review everything before getting here, but she did have an injury, I believe. So it was based on my partner's observations, what it came from the can.
Okay. And did she tell you how she had sustained that injury? Did she confirm the allegations from the call?
She would not.
At that time, were you, I know that you mentioned you briefly spoke with one of the young children. Did you ask any of the children, I know they're all very young, but did you ask if they had seen Mr. King throw anything at Miss Miller?
No.
And as it relates to this incident, have you asked or have you submitted your report and asked for charges against Mr. King?
I have.
And what would those charges be?
And I sent over domestic violence charges, and I believe it was authorized for domestic violence through events.
And did you have any concern about child abuse or child neglect?
Yes, I did as well send over child abuse charges, which were then dropped.
Okay, thank you. When you saw the children, was there anything in particular other than them being dirty that really concerned you about their welfare?
As far as dirty, yes, I mean, just their feet and their arms, I mean, everything about them showed signs of cold trauma, being cold, or extremely cold. The dirty, I mean, I see dirty children every day. It's not my biggest concern whether or not they're dirty. It was the cold, the sheer cold out there. I was freezing them myself that night, so.
And I just want to kind of go back to those photos just to confirm for the record, because I don't know that I said this or that we established this. When you were in the back, what shelter did the family have for their living arrangements?
Yes, it was what I could best describe as like a 6-person tent, inside of which I briefly looked in just to see if there's anybody inside, which was a blow-up mattress. There's clothes and trash all over the floor with a layer of water over it, frozen, and just trash everywhere. So that was all it was. There was no, to my quick peek in there, there was no signs of heat or anything. So.
And would you describe the conditions that you saw on the outside of the tents, so in the yard? And can you describe that a little bit?
Yes, I mean, I've seen hoarding, but this was more, it wasn't just hoarding, it was just trash everywhere, extremely dirty, unsuitable for anyone to be back there. There was metal and nails and trash everywhere. Those children running around barefoot, so.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Questions, Mr. Brooks?
What is the outcome of the domestic violence charge that you reported?
I have not followed up with that. I have not received any court documentation any further than when I knew the charges were authorized and he was arrested at the Lemoore County Sheriff's Office on the warrant.
All right. And the personal protection order that was filed by his significant other?
Again, I have no knowledge of a personal protection order.
Okay. Did you have, other than that initial visit and the photos you took, have you had any other involvement in this case beyond that? Stop it.
I mean, is this direct incident? No. This direct incident, no. I've had other interactions with the home, yes, but none that relate directly to this case.
I have no other questions. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood,
I don't have any additional questions. Thank you.
redirect?
I have none, Your Honor. Thank
Any
you.
reason we should not thank and excuse the deputy for his time?
No, Your Honor.
No, I have no objection.
No objection.
Thank you for your time and your testimony.
Thank you.
You are released. Your next witness?
Mr. King.
Okay, Mr. Dustin King, come on up to our witness stand.
Oh, here we go. Thank you, Biggin. Look at that.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
We have a nice layered look here.
Good afternoon, Mr. King. I'm going to ask you some really obvious questions, but I just have to ask them to establish record, okay?
What was the word?
I'm going to ask obvious or very basic questions, and it may seem silly, but I just have to establish it for the record, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please state and spell your
Excuse
name?
me a minute. Sir, you're gonna have to speak up for me to be able to hear you.
All right,
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Dustin King, DustinKing.
And Mr. King, do you have children?
Yes, I do.
And I know that we are streaming right now, so I'm not going to ask you to say their names, but how many children do you have?
4,
And what are their ages?
12, gonna be 13. Lincoln he just turned 5, 3, and gonna be 2. My daughter.
Thank you. And who are the children? Do the children all have the same mother?
No, 3 of you.
Okay.
3 of the younger ones do, yes.
Okay. And who is their mother?
I'm gonna say out loud. Kirsten Miller,
And who is the mother of the older child?
Jessica Adney.
Thank you. And I apologize. These are some of those silly
I
questions.
just don't like that it's on YouTube.
I understand that. I understand. And Mr. King, were you or are you currently in a relationship with Miss Miller?
Not currently, no.
When did that end? When did your relationship with her end?
When the stuff happened, it was kind of rocky in the last year and a half. Because of the living conditions in my health. The living conditions in the tent had just happened. You know, when I can really speak on those things.
We'll get there if you can bear with me, okay? So just for clarification, the last date in which caused us to come to court was in November 2024.
Yes.
At that period of time, were you in a relationship with Miss Miller?
Yes.
Okay. Was that a yes?
Yes, that was.
And then since then, the relationship has terminated?
Yes,
And I'm just going to repeat this back. And in your opinion, it's terminated because the last year and a half, a lot has happened, some poor living conditions in your health.
I kept asking for help from you guys, from Family First, from Chris, from Brittany, from different workers, from Judge Shadler. We asked for a petition for Kirsten to get help, and I need, obviously in life, people's genes mutate and things happen, people need help. And our doctors don't want to tell us that. So I went and did it myself and figured it out. That's how I found out Lincoln has issues.
And so during your relationship with Miss Miller, and particularly since July, have you engaged in what we would call domestic violence? So arguing, fighting, being physically aggressive with one another?
Mm.
And do you ever have arguments with one another?
Like I told Bailey, John Bailey 10 years ago, I said, I can guarantee you one thing in this world, because his partner was a bartender. I said, I can guarantee you one thing in this world. I'll give you $100 on it and I'll shake on it. He said, I'm not going to do that. I said, everybody's going to argue. It doesn't matter whether you're a dog or a cat, human or kid, you're going to argue until you find a common ground. And violence is the key words are. I mean, I took classes, 70, 80 classes altogether. I know this.
When you and Miss Miller would argue, what did it look like? I think we all have different definitions of arguing. So if you can just articulate to us what it means to you.
It meant she didn't want to change.
Would there be yelling?
Just she needs help. We both do, honestly.
What do you need
Because
help
of
with?
that, maybe like to figure out why my genes mutated and not be gave up on by the Food and Drug Administration like I have. I mean, you guys are government entities. You should work together for us citizens. Like I was told that we were going to get from Chris for $5,500 back rent, and all this stress was on me. It basically about killed me in September. It's been a trajectory. I mean, it's not something I've ever wanted to have to live through or go through again in my life. I mean, I loved her to death, but everything has to change no matter what.
Okay.
For my kids. No, they shouldn't be away from me somewhere else. They never really stayed overnight. Them things matter to me. Where
Mr. King, earlier you testified that you and Ms. Miller did not engage in aggressive behaviors towards one another. But have you ever been criminally charged for assaulting Ms. Miller?
you guys
I'm
wrote
going
a-
to object to the question. Appropriate question would be, has he ever been convicted?
So can you help me out with a better idea of what your objection, like which?
The question, as I
No, I didn't, but I think it might happen.
understand it, she said, have you ever been charged with some sort of crime? And I object to that. That is not evidence. Has he ever been convicted of a crime is evidence.
I think it's improper character evidence. Would you like to respond?
Your Honor, I think I'm faced with the conundrum that we were facing when we have companion criminal cases. Which side goes first? I think that I'm trying to be as accurate with the record here. And
Agreed. That was odd.
I don't know that I'm necessarily trying to use it for character evidence, rather for trying to understand Mr. King's thought process on what is assaultive or not. The allegations that we have in here about domestic violence. And if he doesn't believe he's engaged in domestic violence, then trying to understand the discrepancy between what he believes he's done versus what we have in our petition.
Would you like to weigh in, Ms. Underwood?
I would just state that if Mr. Brooks is unhappy with it, he would have the opportunity to cross-examine the witness to clarify anything that he feels is unclear by Ms. Thomas's questioning. But I don't object to the question itself.
All right. Well, I think as far as the question itself goes, it is asking about potential patterns of behavior. This definition of domestic violence and/or assaultive behavior, I can understand that line of questioning. But any criminal instances, I would think would have to be an exception to the rule that prohibits testimony about criminal charges under the hearsay rule. So if we could keep it, I understand what you're trying to do, but if you could reformulate your question so that it's admissible under the court rules around criminal convictions and or allegations of criminal activity, I would appreciate it. So I'll sustain the objection, but in a different form than it was offered.
Mr. King, in the past, since July, has law enforcement been involved in your life?
Unfortunately,
And to the best of your knowledge or your understanding, why?
since July, there was a domestic and then her dad was brought there and he shouldn't have been there because he hit me with his vehicle prior to November last
Mr.
23.
King, again, I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Sorry. Yes, there had been, unfortunately. And Deputy Bailey had arrested her, I guess, forcefully. Over it, when they talked to me about it, out at my mom's. And Chuck had pointed at me and smacked my, or I pointed at him and he smacked my finger and I told him he needed to leave. And I found out he was in my driveway because he was trespassing in my driveway at 1157 Carlton Road, which I'd lived there about 5 years before all this happened in November. I just feel nobody's given me a time of the day on anywhere I lived.
Okay. And was there an incident that you were aware of in October or late September, October, in which Ms. Miller was accused of physically harming your oldest child?
At the hospital,
Yes.
they had, I know there was like, Brittany and Chris had talked to me and I didn't like, I believe I had it recorded, not on this phone, because I didn't like the way I was being questioned about it. Because there was 3 different stories from the cop, from Chris and her, and from Junior and Kirsten.
Did you ever have concern about Ms. Miller's parenting of your children?
She just needs more patience.
Did you think that your children were safe with her?
Wouldn't you want them to be safe with their mother?
The question was, did you think that they were?
I mean, I lived with her for 8 years, so I'd have to say yes.
In these 2 instances that you've mentioned, there was one in July with Ms. Miller and her father, and then the one with your son and Ms. Miller. Did you have contact with CPS? Again, another obvious question because I know you just testified.
For the July one,
Yes.
I believe I went to his, went to the parking lot, and that's where Chris and Brittany had met me.
Okay.
She kind of come up on us. We did, I believe I knew they were coming, and then David Goldstein had advised me to stay in the parking lot,
Okay. And
not go
after
inside.
and after the incident with Ms. Miller and your older son, did you speak with CPS?
That's when I spoke with him.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought you were stating, sorry.
No, that's okay. And did you ever allow your son to be interviewed with CPS so they could understand what happened?
Right in front of me, yes. My father was a cop for 24 years, so I thought it was okay.
And with these, you've made a couple of comments about you've been asking maybe since last November for help. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Was CPS involved in your life last November?
I didn't really sit back and get all these notes ready. 23 November, October. That's when he said he was going to get us, talk to Jerry Flynn, the landlord, which my stepdad had rented 12 years. And then he passed away in 2020. We took it over for 4.5, 5 years. And Chris and the department was going to pay our back rent because we were struggling. Kirsten was struggling with money or whatever. And we got money, you know, obviously we stayed there that long. You know, I see you guys had an issue with where our money was coming from. On one of the, I can't remember, it's in an email or somewhere, but obviously the lead in Nevada's system, you know, the lead in the house, I mean, and now we're here. You know, things just don't make sense if somebody's gonna help somebody, to why you would drag it out and then never help them. It don't make sense. As me being a formal citizen, I mean, I don't get it.
Okay. So can you help us understand, well, one, the photos, you were shown the photos that that Deputy Rincon had put into the record, correct?
Yeah, I wanted to object on a couple of them.
Well, can you just answer some of my questions about them first? Okay.
Because I have some of the same pictures.
Okay. Those photos, did they look familiar to you?
Yes.
Were they photos of what Hickory, the Hickory address, which is where I believe your mother lives.
Yes,
And on November 21st of 2024, is that where you were living?
I was actually an agent at my aunt's.
Okay, so you were at your aunt's on that date?
I got taken by Brandy Shoemate to my
And,
uncles, and then my cousin Harley, which is my aunt's son, picked me up and took me to his mother's.
and so prior to the
in
police
Dustin.
arriving, were you living there with your children?
Was I there? Yes. Was I living there? No.
Were you aware that your children were staying there?
Were they dropped off there that day? Yes, by him.
And did you have any,
Numerous times,
I'm sorry,
numerous times.
what part was numerous times?
Anna had stopped and dropped her off, picked her up, dropped her off. Before my camera system had went down, I could have proved it.
So during that period of time, so let's just say October through November, were you living with Miss Miller?
After the no contact was lifted,
When was there no contact in place?
I think. Somewhere around July, I believe.
So there was a no contact put in place in July of 2024.
Believe somewhere around that.
Okay, was that as a result of the incident on Carlton?
The domestic, yes.
Okay. And when was the no contact lifted?
Came from there October. Chris and them were supposed to get a meeting. I believe. Whenever the case was lifted, I don't have that direct information. So I
And
couldn't
so,
clearly answer that correctly for you.
so after the no contact was lifted in October, you then started to reside with Miss Miller again?
You mean the other way around?
Or she resided with you, you guys were living together?
Once they were supposed to lift it,
Okay. And where were you living?
well, we were here and there at the like campgrounds.
In October and November, you were at campgrounds?
Well, prior, I mean, I've been out in Indiana and down to Steve Rogers' campground, the old Lazy River.
And were your children living with you in the campgrounds?
Yes. And everybody was aware of it.
What, now your oldest child is school age. What was he doing for school?
Online,
So you had, did you have access to electricity and the internet?
yes, Deputy Rincon is incorrect about heat and electricity. He knew what he was doing, he just didn't tell the truth.
So the tents that are in those photos,
Yes, the one green tent is not livable. It's got clothes in there, which was asked to be taken care of prior. Everything got stressful on me because of my health.
okay. And were you staying in the other tent then?
The red one,
There were two tents. So the green one was not, that was for clothes. So were you guys sleeping in the other one?
yes.
Okay.
Here and there when I'd stay out there, yes. I understand what you're doing. You're trying to angle me at the question.
And so I'm trying to understand. So when you stayed in the other tent, what you said it was red? Is that correct?
It had blue tarpaulin.
Okay.
To keep it warmer in there with the three, I had a Harley give me a heater.
Okay.
And I had 2 electric heaters, and then I had a heater Viral had given me, a little gray one, which wasn't keeping, obviously, as it got colder, it was harder to stay there. And obviously things were getting worse for me and I didn't know whether I was living or dying. So I kept telling everybody that they needed to help figure it out.
Okay. And you've made a few comments about your health. Can you please share with us what's going on?
I'm getting it taken care of, like I told Deputy Gorman when I seen him in the hallway. It's kind of hard.
So to the best of your understanding, I'm going to strike that question. When the children were in your care prior to their removal in November, do you believe that they were safe and cared for?
Yes,
And to the best of your understanding, why were the children removed from your care in November?
because nobody could get along and figure anything out like it was supposed to be stated. You know, I told 2 days prior that the kids were gonna get taken if things didn't change. And I can use my mom as a witness. I mean, I believe in visions and I've seen it. I've seen everything where I'm at today. And that's psychic. I believe in the Lord.
And Mr. King, where are you currently living?
As soon as my mom's trailer's done, that's where I'm living.
Okay.
The Township's been giving us the runaround for the last month and a half.
And would that be, so you said your mom's got the Hickory Street address? Okay. And do you have any employment right now?
I do, but I gotta talk to the law enforcement and everything to be able to, I guess, go down to Ohio. I wanna ask about that today.
What are you currently doing for employment?
Snow plowing, salting.
Do you have any mental health diagnoses?
Not that I know of, but I do have genetic testing that I went and got done because my normal doctor's been bought out and won't do it.
And were there any,
Because I felt like I was poisoned in October by Brandy or Billy Shoemate. That's why the PPOs were thrown on.
were there any findings from your genetic testing?
There's 3 heterozygous genes, but I haven't been formally introduced about everything yet, which is a place from Florida gonna like do a telecommunication help thing with me. I haven't given an opening, only but Tuesdays right now with everything going on.
So there's no medication or anything that you're taking?
No,
for anything?
no,
Okay.
you gotta take like vitamin B6 or riboflavin or niacin or magnesium, stuff like that that your body needs from, you know, like plants.
Okay. And are you currently participating in any form of therapy?
Not at the moment. I haven't added or got it taken care of yet because of the vehicle.
So do you have a vehicle?
I'm working on everything getting done at the moment. It's just a lot to take on.
Yeah.
It'll get better. I was trying to work on that truck in October when everything happened, but I couldn't get out there quick enough every time. You know, Junior, my mom would get into it or something. When you're supposed to have a kid have medicine and you don't send him medicine, that's a problem.
So you're,
Now all of a sudden Dustin's back on his medicine, but his mom wouldn't send it to me.
during this period of time, did you have custody of your older child?
I had fought for custody in March last year and we got every other weekend on August 23rd, but I'd already had him 140 days. So I wasn't planning on sending him back because I was threatened with a pistol by Alexander Rios.
Okay.
And I've been trying to get you guys to do something about it with Jackson and you guys.
Okay, so the period of time you had him, they were supposed to be shared custody with his mom, but you weren't sending him.
Not until my custody went through on August 23rd. And then everything got worse. She told me to keep him. You can ask Kirsten. July 3rd, we kept him from there on.
Okay. Okay.
Until she brought the cops out when Deputy Rincon said in September, I believe it was, I'd have to get that police report and the body camera footage, like I'm trying. He said they went into Mom's house illegally. 4th Amendment rights were violated. I've contacted civil rights attorney. I've put Lenawee County Sheriff's up on it, and I've put Lenawee CPS or whoever needs to be put on. They denied it, but I'm gonna go for it again, because I believe my rights are infringed. Because there's other people living in tents like you guys, CPS had stated to us.
When you were staying in tents, did you, what were the children wearing?
Clothes.
What kind of clothes?
They wouldn't always keep their shoes on, no. You can ask my kids formally, do you like to keep your shoes on to play outside? Lincoln might tell you yes or no. Did I like my shoes on all the time when I was a little kid? No.
Sure.
That big mud puddle the cops seen out there, they like playing in it. I got videos of it. Why? Because he's a little kid. I have family members that walked from 14-2 all the way to North Morenci, barefoot in the winter. What did you guys do back then? It's just a big untangled mess here that needs untangled.
And in your opinion, what would some of those issues that need to be untangled be?
Well, that Lincoln being autistic, he needs to understand that he needs to keep his clothes on or his shoes on. Sometimes he'll get down to his bare butt or his bare diaper when he's inside. I got proof of it. When I was living at the house. You know, when people have an issue or an altered mind, how are they gonna listen? I know this because I had one my whole life. And nobody figured it out until this happened for me. I had to figure it out myself. It's pretty sad in my book.
What other issues need to be untangled?
That my kids come back, that you guys help me like you said you would. And not take my kids from me. You guys said that there's people living in tents last year and then all of a sudden we get them taken. It's like Mr. Brooks had said, the domestics weren't a problem in his office with me. He said the domestics weren't a problem, but now all of a sudden they are. Just needs, people need help.
Mr. King, did you throw a can of green
Did
beans
not.
at Ms. Miller?
I did not, but I can tell you the whole story. On why the PPO got beat. Right here, she gave her testimony. Lincoln smacked the door right above her eye when she had the can in her hand. And I watched it right in front of Dustin Jr. Dustin Jr. was sitting back. No.
Can you help us understand then after that incident, if that's what happened, why you and your older son took off?
Because she'd just been going on the nut. I didn't know whether it was an altered mind issue or if she really needed help. Which I've been trying to get Laura Shaler and my mom had tried to get her help after what things had happened, you know, in her life, events. I mean, everybody has events that have happened, you know. I'm not perfect, but I want to go to the top. Like, I don't want to be right here where I'm at. Now I know too many things to sit here in this chair. That's all. Jesus. I'm ready for another question. So maybe I didn't answer that correctly.
Mr. King, prior to snow blowing, what was your employment?
Barron's in Tecumseh. I worked at Toledo Truck. Was Henry Smith. I've worked a lot of jobs with my hands, putting motors together, pulling motors out. I even built my own transmission that's in my Camaro that's Dustin's.
And so you've maintained income throughout your life?
Obviously, yeah. So that's why I got disability.
And what is your disability for?
They say it's for Munchausen syndrome. It's because they didn't want to figure it out. I had to.
And for Munchausen syndrome, do
It's
you,
actually not Munchausen syndrome. It's actually either mental retardation or autism or something. One of the genes is mutated.
okay, and
And
so
they
that's,
just didn't want to figure it out.
and that's the situation where you have to follow up with telehealth?
That or go back to the wellness clinic in Ann Arbor,
Okay,
which it's $100 a month or 100 up to 169. With all this going on, I had to focus on this first.
all right. There are no further questions of Mr. King.
Questions, Mr. Brooks?
Where do you live, sir?
Place I lay my head down.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
The
you.
place I lay my head down every night. I just don't want it on YouTube, that's all. It's anonymous at the
Do
moment.
you have a permanent address?
Yes.
Do you live there alone?
No.
How many other people live there?
I'd have to really ask them if they want me giving that information out at the moment.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the residence your residence?
No, it's not.
All right. And how long have you lived there?
Oh, 3 weeks.
Is there room in that residence for your children?
At the moment, no, that's why I'm trying to hurry up and get the house trailer done.
Now, you've mentioned that briefly, the business with the house and some conflicts with the township, right?
That's what brought all of us to this issue, that we had a house trailer bought in September and they denied us.
And you and I have talked about this in
Yes.
my office, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, mobile home is yours, right?
Yes, bought and paid for it.
The property you want to set it on belongs to your mom.
Yes,
How big is that parcel?
quarter-acre lot,
All right. And what is the area zone?
as far as.
Well, residential, single
Yes, it got
residential,
it's been zoned residential for 36 years.
and there are other houses in the area?
Yes,
How about mobile homes?
yes. New, 3 of them,
I'm sorry?
3 of them, which I know
All
of,
right.
in the direct area.
Is the mobile home located on that property now?
Not yet, we just tore the other one down.
There was
Oh, the
another
property,
structure
yes.
there?
The one that the CPS tried to say they condemned and they never did. Or the township condemned and never did.
Is there a water hookup available?
Yes.
For the mobile home? Is there electrical utilities available?
Yes.
For the home?
Mr. King, if you could please let Mr. Brooks finish his question first. Thank you.
Are there any other utilities necessary to make that house a habitable place to live?
Other than that, we need bottle gas, but we were waiting until it was all taken care of and hooked up.
And assuming that the court within a reasonable
Yeah, you need a few things.
amount of time gives you your children back, how long would it be, in your opinion, before you would be able to bring those children into your home?
I'm hoping within the next month or two we have it done, or at least, it'd be nice. I mean, I was hoping sooner than that the last time we were here, but we had to pay for concrete and the township made us move the trailer back farther and take my fence down. I gotta move my fence back one panel's gotta go to the back. And I just don't I feel like at this point it's discrimination.
What's discrimination?
Now that they're pushing our trailer back farther when we already got it surveyed to where it should sit
I see.
from the 15
What?
years previous, and then we got it resurveyed this last year.
Where is the mobile home currently
It
at?
was in Carson City, Michigan,
How far away from here is
in
that?
Gratiot County, about 2.5 hours. Guy named Scott. We bought it, actually my son Dustin got my mom on Facebook, and him and her and Verl went up and bought the trailer.
If the utilities were there, which apparently they are, and hooked up, In your opinion, is this a livable place to live?
Yes, it was livable before we bought it. It just needs, some modifications, maybe like a hole in the drywall from the owner that had renters in it. And he just didn't want to fix it up again, so he sold it to my
Nice.
mother,
Nice.
which he wanted 45 and we paid 42, I believe,
42,000?
4,200 cash.
4,200.
And we're waiting on the mover to move it for 3,500.
Now, with respect to these domestic violence charges that Mrs. Thomas was asking you about, the personal protection order aspect of it at least was dismissed, wasn't it?
Yes,
Right in this courtroom,
yes. Your Honor.
very same
Yes,
judge we're sitting in front of. It's the same judge, right?
correct.
Are you working at the moment?
Yes, I need to speak with you in the courts about it, so I don't get in trouble for going into Ohio.
I'm not aware of anything prohibiting you working in Ohio.
I seen it on my bond thing.
Oh, that's not something I represent you on though, right?
Yeah. So I need to figure out who I need to ask.
Probation department, or,
I'm not on probation,
well,
I just didn't know where to go yet. But I'm trying.
is there anything in your life, your lifestyle today, that in your opinion prevents you from having your children?
I actually quit smoking weed. But I have to take the oil till I figure out. Till they give me surgery on my prostate or my hernia. Other than that, I wouldn't need to take it.
Do you use it as a sleep aid?
Yes, it helps me sleep with anxiety. If I have to get my medical card, I will.
Do you use any other street drugs?
No, I do not.
Is there anything else you'd like this court to know?
Do you want me to show that one paper I brought over to you and Susie?
If you would.
Where'd you like this to go, Your Honor?
Take it over to Mr. Brooks so he can properly address it. Please.
Thank you. Yes, this would have come up when we were here last time, right?
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it did. Basically, if I'm reading this correctly, the mother of the three youngest children have indicated you should have custody of the kids, right?
Yes,
That's what you wanted the judge to see.
yes,
And this was signed by the mother.
yes.
I don't see any further point to doing that, honestly. The issue, sir, is between now, you and the department. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, so she has her own
Thing
case
going
and you have yours.
on.
All
I had spoke to you about it, so I was, my apologies.
right. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up? You want to talk about your personal suitability to raise your kids?
Be nice.
Do it.
How do you want me to lead? I've always had an issue with starting. Well, I mean,
Are you a good guy or a bad guy?
in law's eyes, I'm a bad guy, but I believe I'm a good guy. I hold doors open and do things for others. I mean, Mr. Gorney knows me pretty well. Give me my first seatbelt ticket, and after that, I like to wear them.
influence do you hope you have on your children?
Well, the influence I hope I have on my children is the same influence Jim had on me to do better than what I was showed coming up. I mean, you know, not to be ornery, not to be mean, and learn to be greater. I mean, I'm not the greatest person there is, but I know I have a lot of instances where I've helped many people in this county.
In your
And my
opinion,
kids,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
and my kids, I mean, if my kids see something, me do some good, and they do good for somebody, then obviously they learned it from me or seen it from me.
How effective do you believe you have been with your children in leading by example?
Other than the issue that happened in November, I thought I was doing all right until I got sick. Getting up, going to work, obviously Lincoln was raised in the shop in Barron's in Tecumseh. I mean, you know, me and Kirsten worked there for 3-4 years and made them a lot of money. I mean, one month we made them almost 60 grand.
Doing what?
Wrecker, wrenching, turning wrench. You know, I was the fastest, I believe I was the fastest mechanic that could pull a motor out of a mail truck over there. Hour and 45 minutes. I knew every tool there was to get it out.
Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
I'd like them to know that we took our kids places. I mean, we took them more than the department's giving me. You know, they're not telling me I did enough with my kids. You know, they're not telling me that my kids sit in high chairs. Anna bought 2 different high chairs. The department bought high chairs to give them. We had bought high chairs and got them before the department had give us high chairs. You know, Nevada would eat in her high chair. Lincoln would climb in his own high chair. If I'd say something about it, he'd climb in it. You know, if nobody take the tray off and put it on there, you know, and my mom is witness for that. Like, you know, I wouldn't always go to Anna's because there was a heated match there all the time. And I just didn't like that. You know, I'd appreciate everything she did do, you know, buying them stuff and bringing it, but I just didn't like the issues. You know, that always arose.
Once you get this mobile home placed on the property that your mother owns, do you feel these children should be returned to you?
Yes, I do, 100%. That's part of the untangled mess you were talking about.
Are there any impediments you can think of that you would think need to be taken care of before they move in to the mobile home?
Maybe the psychological evaluations and everything you're talking, or
I'm asking you, there's psychological evaluations that need to be done.
yes.
Do you want to do them?
I don't see why. I mean, are you asking me that I need to do them?
No, because I have no opinion, but are you willing to do it?
As long as it doesn't stop me from getting my kids, yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Questions, Ms. Underwood?
Yes. Mr. King, you mentioned a few times that you and Miss Miller just need help. What kind of help are you referring to?
Well, the help that we've been asking you guys, your office, to give us or get us.
I don't work for any office in particular, so again, what type of help specifically do you feel like you need?
Just guidance, parent, you know, maybe parenting. I mean, I've tried to help. You know, if I got 8 parenting classes plus 26 domestic or whatever, plus anger management or whatever, obviously I know more. And I'm trying to guide somebody farther than they've ever been guided in their life.
Okay.
Because my father wasn't present, but I knew who he was. You know, my stepdad was there for a long time. You know, he never gave up on me till he died.
Do you think that the living conditions that were present when the children were removed in November were appropriate?
No, they weren't, but was I able to do anything about it completely myself? And I couldn't,
And why couldn't you do anything about your kids' living conditions?
because of my health at the moment. Kirsten knows about it, my mother knows about it, Earl knows about it, Anna knows about it.
Okay, and talk a lot about your health. Have you seen any medical doctors?
When you know, I'm just gonna put it this way to the court, I guess, when you know too much, you know too much.
What health conditions were preventing you from providing your children with appropriate and suitable living conditions?
Well, got a busted eardrum that was supposed to get fixed in 19, didn't, due to COVID. As well as prostate problem from either a groin issue or a pulled hernia, I don't know. But if I don't take THC oil, like you guys are asking me not to, or THC, then I possibly will die.
And that's advice that you've received from a medical professional?
I don't, John Kelly told me I had leukemia.
Who's John Kelly?
Doctor at, it was under Yancey or with Yancey at the time, medical care here in Adrian. One of my medical associates or whichever.
Okay, but you're indicating you had medical issues that were preventing you from providing your children with adequate housing. So again, what were those specific medical issues that were stopping you from making that change?
Want to listen?
I-
Trying
I'm-
to tell you. I have issues myself. Oh, Jesus. It's like I've been telling you guys now, but you never listen. And then all of a sudden we got to where we're at. It doesn't make sense to me. You know, you guys are trying to give me help for them, but yeah, I'm behind the wrong counter for you to help them. That makes sense.
Again, I'm asking, have you seen a doctor to try to address your medical
Doctors don't
condition?
want to do nothing to me over it.
Okay.
Because I know too much. Like on these government conspiracies you guys got me on.
Do you think you have any issues with mental health?
I just got diagnosed with it, but I know what can fix it, vitamin B6.
You were just diagnosed with a mental health disorder?
Yeah, genetics. Had to get my own genetic test when I thought somebody poisoned me.
The petition indicates that there was a request to have, I'm going to call your oldest son DJ, forensically interviewed. And you would not allow that, is that correct?
What does forensically interviewed mean? He said, he didn't say that. He asked it interviewed.
Okay, so did you allow your oldest son to be interviewed?
Right in front of me, yes. That was what was stated right in front of Dustin. Dustin had it recorded, to be honest with you.
Do you believe prior to CPS filing the removal petition that you were cooperating?
I believe I was. I believe you guys were asked to give me help in numerous times before we had any of this happen.
When you say you guys, who do you mean?
Every one of you guys involved, honestly. I mean, I don't know other way to put it. You government entities, government workers. I don't know how you want me to announce it in your way. Honestly, I don't.
The petition indicates that there were, after July of 2024, there were 8 attempts at contacting you by phone and 9 attempts at contacting you in person that were all unsuccessful.
Did you guys
Is that accurate?
contact me for Zach? Yeah. Did you contact me for him? Yep. Brittany contacted me.
The petition states that they were unsuccessful, which means they were unable to reach you either by phone or in person a total of 17 times from.
Which phone number?
I'm asking you, I'm just indicating that is what they are, that is what the petition states. Is that true?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Which phone number?
The petition just indicates again that they were unable to reach you either in
Right,
person.
but either
or by phone.
269 number, 877 number,
How often do you change your phone number, sir?
enough.
So wouldn't it be your responsibility to update the department with your updated phone number?
It's a two-way street.
How can CPS update get an updated phone number without you providing it to them?
Well, Ashley, I think was her name. She asked me, you guys have my 269 number still? When I tried to reschedule my assessment for Dustin yesterday. Why is that? This is not my fault.
Sir, I'm asking you questions that were true at the time the petition was filed. So again,
I didn't have a 269 number at the time the petition was filed.
okay, so between July and November, how many different phone numbers did you have?
1, 2, 3.
3. And every time you got a new phone number, did you notify
I tried.
CPS? Okay, how did you try?
Got a hold of Chris.
Okay, so you called him on your new number?
Yes.
Okay,
So did Dustin. He had Dustin's 4147 number. I believe that's how we got a hold of him.
you indicate that your younger son, I'll say your 5-year-old has autism, is that correct?
Well, that's what Chris used on the first day of court, was severely.
Has he been diagnosed by
I don't
a
know.
doctor? I'm sorry,
I don't know.
so you don't know whether your son has autism?
But I know he does, but you guys don't.
Has he been formally diagnosed by a physician?
That's why he's on disability.
Did you have him in any type of schooling or services for his autism?
Trenton Hills, I'm the one that advocated it for it. Family First even said I did pretty well advocating for my kid, and you guys act like I didn't.
Let's go back and talk about this tangled mess that you indicate.
That's
you're
all the
in.
tangled mess.
Are you responsible for any of this tangled mess?
Very little, but yes.
Okay.
I got sick, so I was trying to right before it all happened, I told my mother and Kirsten that everybody needed to do something more than they were doing in order, and you can put my son on the stand and he'll tell you that things shouldn't always been like he was cooking food where Kirsten wouldn't. I'm sure it's all, balled up on everybody, but how was I supposed to get out of it when I was sick?
Whose responsibility is it to take care of their children?
The parents that have them.
Okay.
But like I said, it's a two-way street.
Is it the department's,
No.
department's job?
No, but it's the department's job when they stick their nose in to do what they're told or what they're asked of.
Okay.
Yes, it is. If they're gonna lie or open their mouth, I mean, it's on recording. In my driveway, in my house, numerous times, in text messages, numerous times.
Is living in a tent in November an appropriate place for your children to live?
Incorrect, no, it's not, unfortunately, no, it's not, but when there's numerous people living in tents, that's what your guys' department states, and you guys couldn't help us, that's an issue in my eyes.
No further questions, thank you.
Can you redirect?
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor.
What?
Mr. King, the trailer home that you're working on,
Yes.
does it need new windows?
I don't know if it needs new windows, maybe some drywall work.
Any point in time were you working with the Community Action Center to get new windows for it?
Good job,
For you?
not me. My boy and my mom talked about it.
Okay.
But there's windows in it and they said they had talked about it, needing them,
Okay,
but it don't need them.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get an idea of what will become, okay? And
A
so,
living house that was moved, that was lived in prior.
and so does it have wheels and axle and all the things it needs to be able to come?
Can you take a leaf there?
What?
I'm getting upset.
I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're
I'm
saying.
getting overwhelmed.
Sir, do you need a break?
Yes.
I don't see any reason to take a break. We can get him some more.
Love it. How about no?
It's my disability. I'm having issues with.
Ms. Thomas, the next question or
I don't believe mine was answered, just wondering about, like, is it capable of being, like, the necessities, like the axles, the tires, steering columns, all those things?
It's not a mobile home that you drive, it's a mobile home that you tow.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. That's what I was trying to understand is what,
I usually don't like classifying or clarifying, but I see that I'm in a different setting, so I have to learn to be different. Basically, it was lived in then, it needs to be lived in now. Just needs updated to, you know, like painted, mom wants to paint it.
Okay.
And patch a couple holes in the wall that guy did, or whoever lived in it before we bought it.
right, I have no further questions.
Mr. Brooks, any other questions?
No,
Ms. Underwood?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony. May you return to your seat. Next witness, Ms. Evans.
I'll call Mr. Farian.
Okay, Mr. Farian.
Wow. What an absolute train wreck. I don't even know where to begin.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Julie, as well.
Yes, if I could, please.
I think it's empty.
Well,
I'm just kidding. We'll get it figured out.
All right, Mr. Farian, for the record, can you please indicate where you were?
yes, I work, excuse me, I work for the Department of Health and Human Services here in Lenawee County.
And what is your job title?
I am a Child Protective Service ongoing worker.
And how, are you familiar with the King family?
Yes, I am.
How are you familiar with them?
I worked with them previously in 2023, roughly August through October of that year. And then I received another case, thank you, in August of this year.
In the prior case, so August through October, I just briefly want to touch base on that.
Sure.
What were you, I guess, what were the issues that caused the department to offer an ongoing case?
There was a domestic violence incident between Ms. Miller and Mr. King's mother at their residence there on Carlton Road.
And were the children present?
Why is she putting her finger in her mouth? I mean, it's just so odd.
Is that why CPS was called? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And what services were offered at that time?
It was more just case services. I know that there's been discussion about helping with housing and things of that nature. I was also working on that at the time.
And then in August, there was another case, you said. What was that case about?
You're referring to August of this year?
I'm sorry, yes, of August 2024, yep.
I received a case for, again, another incident of domestic violence. There were multiple people involved in that, including Mr. King and that would be Miss Miller's father.
And was CPS called because children were present during that incident?
Correct, yes.
And during your ongoing case, or I guess I should ask, how long were you the ongoing worker from August of 2024 until when?
Until November 21st of this year, when we actually came to court and the children were removed.
And then it switches to foster care?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so during your time as an ongoing worker, did you attempt to service this family?
To the best of my ability, yes.
And what services or referrals were made for the family?
So there have been definitely some housing referrals, referrals to Housing Help of Lenawee, Community Action Agency, the other general places within the county that could help with those type of things. There was a Family First worker that was involved with them at some time. Individual casework, I did purchase, gave gas cards, things of that nature.
And during your time as the ongoing caseworker, how many contacts did you have with Mr. King?
2 that I recollect.
And
Are you talking in person? Sorry, I should ask it Claire if I could. In person or phone, text? I mean, are we?
sorry, just want to come back here. So during your time as the ongoing caseworker, did you have regular contact with Mr. King?
I had contact with him. I would not describe it as regular.
What kind of contact did you have with him from August until November?
I had 2 face-to-face meetings with him, both in the parking lot of the department. I had multiple text messages from time to time. There were sometimes I would have to get other phone numbers just because of the changing phone numbers. And then a handful of phone calls.
And during your time and those contacts, were you able to explain to Mr. King why you were involved?
I'm pretty sure he knew prior to, but yes, we did discuss why I was involved in the opening of the cases.
And can you help, again, one of those obvious questions, but
Sure.
Tell us what you told him as to why you were involved.
Well, it was the domestic violence incident or alleged domestic violence incident that the department found that there was a preponderance of evidence from July. And just to verify the well-being also for Jackson County of his son, DJ.
Were you able to verify the well-being of the 3 younger children with Miss Miller?
Yes, I would. I would see them at the home of her grandmother, Anna Dietrich.
And in comparison, were you able to easily verify the well-being of the oldest child who was with Mr. King?
I was not able, not easily, no.
And in fact, the only times you were able to verify that were those 2 face-to-face meetings?
Correct, yes.
Did you have any concerns about the well-being of the children during your open case?
The 3 youngest, no, I did not. When I saw them at that home, they were usually clean, well kept, usually in clean clothes, other than you could tell that they've been playing. I think one day they had popsicles, so that was obviously on them towards the end of summer there. Other than that, no, I had no concerns with them. Junior, again, the 2 times I saw him, he was okay. I mean, I've seen worse. I don't think that there was any glaring concerns.
During your your ongoing case, were there any other complaints that came in regarding this family?
There were 2 complaints that came in. They were not assigned to me. They were assigned out to an investigator.
Okay. Were you present at the time of removal?
Yes, I actually, well, I wasn't present at the time when Deputy Rincon had Anna Dietrich come and pick the children up and take them that night. But I was present when Junior was removed, yes.
Okay. And just to lay some foundation there, Deputy Rincon had the 3 children picked up by grandma at the time that he had went there to respond to the incident. Is that correct?
Correct. The incident that took place November 20th, 21st,
Okay.
yes.
And then subsequently, you are the author of this petition before the court, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then after submitting this, the court issued an order for removal. Is that
Correct, yes.
And it was at that point in time that then you went to attempt to obtain custody of the oldest child.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And describe to us what happened that day.
Well, Initially, I had gone to the address of a Miss Lee Sneed, who is the aunt of Mr. King. I initially went there as protocol. I took law enforcement with me. Multiple officers attended with me. When we initially got there, knocked on the door, Miss Sneed answered and stated that he was not there and she did not know where he was. So I was going to attempt to go to the Hickory Street in Morenci address, and on the way, I received some information that he was indeed at that residence. So myself and law enforcement went back there and then spoke to Ms. Sneed, who did indicate he was indeed there.
Was he agreeable to honoring that court order and allowing the oldest child to come to you?
No, not initially. There was a couple hours where law enforcement and myself tried to explain the situation and what was happening and why it was happening. I did attempt to present him with the petition and the paperwork to follow and the order signed by Judge Sala to indicate that the child was to be removed. He refused to take that from me. Both myself and law enforcement tried to explain to him, you know, that what it said in there. I eventually just left it on the railing of the home because he refused. He told me that he couldn't, if he took it, then that would mean that it was, I guess, authorized. If he didn't, then it didn't really happen.
And when you were finally able to get the oldest child with you, did you observe the child to be in fine condition?
You know, he was in halfway decent spirits. His hair was a little long. His clothing was a little dirty. There was a notable smell just of unwashed clothes. But other than that, I mean, and no marks, no bruises that I would consider concerning in that regard.
Were there any concerns about whether the children had, you know, been fed recently prior to removal or prior to being with Miss Dietrich?
I cannot speak to anything about the three younger children. I did not see them until the 21st, I believe it was, at their placement where they resided. I saw them then. They looked great.
You've seen the photos that Deputy Ringon took?
Correct, yes.
And when you saw the children the next day, did they look like that?
No, they did not.
You mentioned that Families First was involved with this family.
Mhm.
To the best of your knowledge, did Mr. King participate with them?
I think he initially participated in some of the earlier stuff, but ultimately when it came to working with them, he did not so much in the second go round, which I would say, took place during my case. So August, September, October, in that time frame. But some of that was due to the no contact order that Miss Miller and Mr. King had in place. So he wasn't able always to participate. Plus the three youngest children were found in her care. So they were primarily with her.
And during that period of time where there was the no contact order and you were the case manager, you know, I'm going to strike that because you've already said you can't speak on that. I'm sorry. During your time as ongoing case worker, though, did you attempt to offer Mr. King any services to address domestic violence or his mental health?
I did not attempt to do that. He was very much focused on needing help with housing. And I did provide him the resource guide. I did provide him the housing help. You know, the department doesn't always have the resources to financially provide things for them or just provide housing to them. We just don't have those things. I did direct him also, he could contact a caseworker for state emergency relief application, in which case they might have been able to help him with first month's rent, those kind of things.
Were you concerned about Mr. King's, yes, lack of initiative in reducing or preventing exposing his children to domestic violence?
Of course, I mean, that's always a concern of mine in any case. As long as he and Ms. Miller indicated that they weren't around each other, I mean, there was not necessarily an immediate threat or concern at that particular time.
And you mentioned that it sounded, and based on his testimony, there's a housing crisis kind of in the last year and a half.
Correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, did both of the adults in the home receive Social Security?
Yes.
And had any assistance been given or resources for like budgeting or trying to help them stay within budget?
I don't know that anything was done while I had the case. There was this gap, again, of about a year where other workers had been involved at different times working with them. And if that was addressed during that, I'm unaware. At that time, up until, geez, I think July, August, at that time, they were still at Carlton Road.
Okay.
So they were able to stay there for another almost year after I closed my initial
Okay.
portion of it.
Great, thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions of Mr. Farian.
Questions, Mr. Brooks?
I have none.
Ms. Underwood?
What was it that Mr. King did or did not do that really caused you to feel the need to then file this removal petition?
Hold
Well-
on just a minute. I object. Perhaps a little voir dire, if I may.
Okay,
Did you make the decision to remove the children from the home, or did someone else?
As always, it is a team decision within the department. We bring the facts there. Initially, it was the incident that opened the case was in July. Then we had the incident in October with Miss Miller and Junior. Then we had the incidents of Mr. King still allowing Miss Miller to be around that child even after there was a no contact order. The concerns brought forth of that they may be staying in these tents behind these homes. So the petition was filed based off of the cumulative things and then the last domestic violence incident that took place.
That was a series of issues, right?
Correct.
Reviewed by a series of people, right?
The whole department, yes, with contact with our council, yes.
Not just your decision, was
No, it was not, sir.
it? I object to the question. He didn't make the decision, at least not by himself.
would you like to respond?
Your Honor, he's just asked all of the questions that I would have asked anyways as a follow-up, so I don't feel the need to. I can withdraw the question.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Sure. The petition indicates that there were 9 attempted unannounced visits, or 9 attempted visits that were unsuccessful in person.
That was cumulative, that was including investigators, not just me alone.
Okay. Did you have issues with contacting Mr. King based on the fact that he had several different phone numbers?
At times, yes, I mean, I would have to. I would contact on one number and then sometimes I would get a text on a different number saying, I heard you were looking for me. I didn't always get a quick response either. Sometimes a coworker would indicate that they were attempting to get a hold of them, investigator, and then I was able to get a hold of him. He would respond to me. So I think it was like a pick and choose sometimes.
What would you say Mr. King's level of cooperation was with the department prior to the removal petition being filed?
It was minimal because there was not just Ludwig County looking for him. There was also Jackson County because there was an open case with his oldest son, Junior, that was involved there. And they would attempt to get a hold of him. They would send out law enforcement to also attempt to get a hold of him at the house on Hickory. So there were a lot of different people attempting to get a hold of him at different times.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Any recross, Mr. Brooks?
No,
All right, thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, just briefly call Miss Kelly,
Okay,
Brittany Kelly.
Ms. Brittany Kelly, come on up.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly, can you, again, for the record, state where you're employed?
Department of Health and Human Services.
What is your job title?
I'm a Child Protective Services investigator.
And how are you familiar with the King family?
I have had, excuse me, I've had 3 CPS investigations with them since July of 2024.
Can you please elaborate what those 3 investigations were?
The first one was regarding a domestic between Kirsten and Dustin at their home in Carlton. And then the second investigation was regarding an incident between Kirsten and Junior that took place at the hospital. And then the third one was the most recent domestic between Kirsten and Dustin.
And during your investigations, were you ever able to make contact with Mr. King?
Via text a few times. There were 3 different numbers throughout the last 6 months that I've contacted him on. Usually he would text me back a few days later. And I had only ever seen him one time in person. I was not able to make any home visit. I made attempts, but was not successful with those attempts with him.
And so were you able to verify the well-being of the oldest child that was with him?
I saw him one time. That was the same day that I saw Dustin Sr.
And during your investigation what was the outcome of the first investigation for the domestic in July?
I substantiated in that case open as a category 2 to Chris Varian, who's the ongoing worker.
And why did you make the determination to substantiate that investigation?
The prior ongoing case had just closed and there were concerns of domestic violence during that case. Overall, that case was unsuccessful for services. And I felt the family with a new incident and the same concerns arising again, that they still needed some services from us.
And during that first investigation, did you see Dad at all during that, Mr. King?
No.
And did you see the oldest child at all?
No.
How long do your investigations last?
We have 30 days to complete them, roughly about 45 after a supervisor reads and reviews and they close, so.
And then the second one was the incident between Miss Miller and the oldest child. What was the outcome of that investigation?
I also substantiate on that. Which when there's an open ongoing case, what we normally do is we substantiate, we open the case, and then we do a case closure on the ongoing side. But still allow the ongoing worker to keep their portion open, if that makes sense.
And was it during that investigation that you were able to see Mr. King?
Yes.
And was he aware of the situation in which you were investigating?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, was he still permitting the oldest child to be with Miss Miller?
It's hard to say. In the beginning of the investigation, Kirsten had told me that Junior was with her. She told me what happened at the hospital. Dustin wasn't cooperative with law enforcement. And when I spoke with Junior, he wouldn't allow me to interview him alone. He did let me speak to him in front of him. but he was aware of why law enforcement and CPS were involved for the new allegations against Kirsten.
And during that investigation, was there a complaint called in regarding the oldest of the younger three and the condition he was found at school, to the best of your knowledge?
I believe so.
Was that, do you know what happened with that complaint?
I believe it got rejected by our intake, and just when they reject those, they ask that the ongoing or investigator, if there's a current investigator, they ask that we address those concerns. And me and Chris were both actively working with the family at that time.
And then you were called again, or there was the third complaint because of the most recent incident of alleged domestic violence?
Correct.
And during that investigation, obviously it led to this petition, but what was the outcome from your end?
I substantiated on that case as well.
And was Mr. King cooperative with you during that investigation?
The only time I spoke with him was at court the day that we had the prelim hearing. And we spoke very briefly in the hallway. He told me that he wasn't going to speak to me about the allegations, and I left it at that.
And during your investigation from November, did you have contact with any of the children, or were you able to observe any of the children?
From the third investigation?
Yes.
I made contact with them after removal. I think the petition was filed within 24 hours of me receiving the investigation. So the foster care workers made contact with the 3 younger children at placement, and then Chris had made contact during the removal. I wasn't involved in the actual removal.
Thank you. I have no further questions of Ms. Kelly.
Questions, Mr. Brooks?
No,
Ms. Underwood?
I have no questions.
Thank you for your testimony. May I resume your seat? Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, we're going to take a 15-minute recess. And then we'll come back and conclude any witness testimony and move into closings.
Oh, good Lord. I thought because it was long, we had the whole hearing. I've got another one. I think it's like 20 minutes. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do it later? Now, let me see. I thought we would have a conclusion just for tonight. Okay. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Seven.
All right, we're back on record. All of our same parties and attorneys have rejoined us. Mr. Brooks, witness presentation this afternoon.
I'll call my first and only witness, Dustin King.
Okay, Mr. King, you have been sworn. You remain under oath.
Oh, good Lord, he's back.
Back up to the witness.
I was losing my mind, but I was trying to stay out of the way of it. It's such an odd one. You know, I've done thousands of videos. This one is just odd. Like he's saying, you know, obviously stuff that doesn't make sense and everything, but it's slow. It's really, really strange. The highlight so far, he has this condescending affect that like he knows more than everybody else on one hand, but then he also claimed to be retarded. I mean, that happened in this hearing. It's wild.
King, you and I had a very brief conversation just as the break happened, right?
Right.
And you told me you wanted one more opportunity to tell the court a few things. Is that right?
Yes.
What are they?
I was a trying dad before all this happened, and I'd like to try, not necessarily that I got to try again, but keep the promises that come with a kid, having kids. And just try to be there for them as the opportunity was, or still is there, that I was, trying to give them the right opportunity to prosper like I did, because I had a rough upbringing myself, and I just feel that my kids were getting a better opportunity at the beginning, and things just got a little rough at the end last year. And I feel like they were using their utensils and eating in a high chair and doing the things that, toddlers do, and using their words. And I know Leo was putting sentences together last year when he had his, can't remember, neonatal or something I give for toxicity, metal toxicity from all these juices and all these red 40s and all these things that, Food and Drug Administration needs to get a hold of, because our kids are not prospering like they should.
What kind of meals do you feed your kids? when you
Oh,
have
we
the
had
opportunity?
steak, we had tacos, we had burgers, we had taco pockets, we had French fries. I mean, meatloaf, all things that their mother liked to cook.
Taco pockets. Nothing like some good home cooked taco pockets, whatever the hell that is.
I'd help cook too when I was able. And she knows that she can, put it on the record. And my mother was there. I mean, the other family, it was
Who
me and
prepared
Esther.
those meals?
Huh?
Who prepared those meals?
Me and their mother.
All right. Go ahead,
Whether
I'm
it
sorry. I
be,
don't mean to interrupt.
breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Sometimes it wasn't always all three. It wasn't allotted times for the routine, but there was a routine of having those things, whether it be baths or eating in a high chair, or whether me and Sissy waking up every morning saying hi, giving her a high five, or her smiling at me and getting a toast or butter and toast or an egg or whatever she needed or wanted. She might not have been able to talk and say what she wanted yet, but we were on the verge of doing those things.
Has anybody accused you of having children who are, quote, underfed?
I would say they are I thought there was one letter that come from.
What a dumb question and a dumb way to phrase it. What the hell is he doing? I understand that this guy's not all there, but you're an attorney.
CPS like that, I believe. I can't remember what the year was.
Well, obviously, what you're telling me is they're not underfed.
Right, correct. I just feel I needed to speak up and say the things that they did do because my mother was there. The grandmother wasn't always there, other than I appreciate everything she did do.
So
buying
mom was
things.
feeding them too.
Right. Anna would come and feed them, whatever they'd go out to eat, whatever, go to Anna's, whatever. It wasn't just, the tent was not a permanent area. It was to just understand like, hey, this is something you don't want in life. You need to get up and go, figure it out. And we were waiting on money, to get there. Obviously, nobody's perfect in life. I mean,
You're not trying to claim that how they were found is the permanent condition you're going to raise.
Right, exactly. It's not something I ever lived in my life other than her wanting to go and, experience it this past summer or whichever, however. It was more or less, we had to get out of Jerry's house because of all the department knew the issues with the house, and that's why I'd asked for help from them numerous times, because I felt like the mycotoxins in the house from the mold was taking me out. None of my doctors want to give me the mycotoxins test.
Let me ask you this, how would you describe your relationship with the mother of your three youngest kids?
Well, I mean, we went to Tennessee, we went to Gatlinburg, we've been a lot of places together. So therefore, as far as I'm concerned, it was better than what the department was looking at it as. Because she encouraged me to do more than what Junior's mother did, is what I was saying. She encouraged me to do more than my mother had, other than when I was growing up.
And today,
I
you
believe-
and
I
with
believe she
respect
was-
to the mother,
I do what?
with respect to you and the mother of the three youngest kids, how would you describe the relationship?
I'd say it's pretty well. I mean, I feel like when I was in foster care solutions and Lincoln kept asking for his mother and I couldn't really say much about it, you know, that burned me. That hurt me
What hurt you?
to not be able to talk about her to them.
Well, I'm asking you to talk about her. Is there a problem?
It's no problem. It's more, it's an issue.
You don't get along?
No, we get along with everybody.
No, I mean with each other.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's happening. Y'all think I'm crazy. And you think that these things don't matter, but aside from very rare circumstances, a guy crying in public is a freaking problem. It just is.
just miss it.
You miss her? I'm gonna take that as a yes and put it on the record. Sir, we are very short of time and none of us wants to come back again
I
another
don't
day.
either.
So do you have anything else you want to tell the court? Take a deep breath and tell the court what you want them to know. This is your
No.
time.
I know Chris was supposed to put Dustin Jr. with my brother. And that never happened. That was a lie. I didn't like that very well. And that was a lie on text messages and verbal.
You do
Uh,
realize he was part of a team, right?
Yes,
Wasn't like a dictator.
right. I just felt like it was because of the way he presented the petition to me and laid it on my aunt's porch rail and not in my hands directly. That was indirectly giving me the order prepared for me. And the numerous cops that were there, I have it recorded, numerous videos.
You do realize that he may think exactly what he told you. And the other members of his team overrule what he thinks. You realize that's possible,
Possible, yes.
just like I may think a certain something.
Just like the
And the
president.
court may very well think a different thing. That doesn't mean I've lied to you.
I understand, yes.
What else is on your mind?
Hoping that my kids are more encouraged to use their words and they're more than they are their violence.
Don't ever ask a witness, and certainly not this one, what is on your mind. Like, I can follow this attorney. I know what he's trying to do. And in that sense, he's rational. But I've got serious problems with it, with the approach. I just do.
You know, I was trying to write those things down before I got my rights taken on the 12th of December, I believe. Or that I
Sir,
couldn't
your rights
see
have
them.
not been taken.
Not been taken, but my rights to see them correctly, I guess is more. They took the rights to see them for the time being at the moment.
Anything else you want the court to know? You want your kids back.
Yes, but obviously I was doing the things to, I mean, I know there's more other people out there that, you know, like Barron's and Tecumseh, just people knew what I was trying to do in my kids' life for my kids. Obviously.
You
it
want to
wasn't-
reestablish your relationship with the mother of your children.
It would be nice someday, yes.
You know whether she has an opinion on this.
I don't know.
All right. you prohibited from talking to her at this
At the
point?
moment, yes, we are.
By what?
I believe the domestic, on the third, I have both cases through together between her dad's assault and
But
battery,
not the PPO.
but not the PPO. The PPO is gone. But I believe, McFarland put a no contact in to
All
this office
Okay.
or court.
Unless you got any other thing on your mind, I'm gonna say no further questions.
Other than the no contact,
Yeah. Yeah, any other points you want to make?
not at the moment.
Thank you.
Questions, Ms. Thomas?
Like, what are you thinking? This guy who told his own client to shut up, and I give him credit for that. It needed to be done. He knows that the guy's a loose cannon, and he keeps asking him, just tell us all your thoughts and dreams. And it's an insane approach.
Mr. King, did you read the petition?
I'm slower to read things because of my disabilities, what I have been going through it and I get overwhelmed at certain points of it. And I have to take a breather.
What you have read, was any of it true?
As far as
Anything that you read in it?
elaborate your question a little more.
I'm only asking questions. Was
I know.
anything in the petition that you read, was it true? That you can recall? If you can't recall, that is fine.
As far as like your main one, what you're saying is I need to look at it real quick.
Do you need to refresh your memory? You have to you have to ask the court if.
Yeah, I need to refresh my memory. 'Cause I don't know where it's at.
Mr. King, frankly, I was just asking from your recollection, if there was anything that stood out.
Put me on the spot at the moment.
Yeah, I probably should mellow out. It's no big deal. I'm relaxing watching this, but it just I've been doing this a long time, and I went to school, and you're just trained to do certain things, and to have a witness that's this far out there. It didn't actually bite him this time. He didn't say anything weirder than usual, but to continuously ask him, is there anything else you want to say? Knowing his character, it's hard for me to take.
I can't remind myself everything that I reviewed it. I could give you more further detail of what you're asking.
I don't know further questions.
Ms. Underwood?
Just to clarify, you indicated that the tents were not a permanent living situation, is that correct?
Correct.
How long had you been living in tents with your children?
You had, right there, what was it, August, I think you guys were talking?
I'm asking you,
I
how long were
believe
you living?
you and
in-
Chris were talking, or somebody was talking about August or September. Cause I know we went there a week and then we left.
So,
I know it wasn't more than a month and a half, I can guarantee you that.
okay,
Like I said, there was cameras.
when you were living in the tents, how would you cook meals?
Fryer, griddled. You can even ask Junior fried French fries.
I have no further questions.
Thank you for your testimony. May return to your seat.
I have no further witnesses.
Any witnesses?
Junior fried French fries.
Ms. Underwood?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, closing arguments, beginning with Ms. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. As this court is aware and the department understands, it is our burden to prove by preponderance of the evidence, meaning more likely than not, a 51% threshold, that at least one of the allegations in the petition is true, and that it constitutes a violation of the juvenile code. start by saying I think that it is, we've met our burden and some. Today, Deputy Rincon's testimony was that of his own eyewitness account. He had taken photos because of the complete concern and disbelief that he had that children were living in the conditions that he witnessed. This is an officer who, or deputy, who has been part of a sheriff's office for a year. And in that year, through the office, has become very familiar with this family and also has personally responded to the residents 3 or 4 times, or to these individuals 3 or 4 times for domestic violence, for civil disputes. And I think that's a clear indication of the environment that these children were subjected to while in the care of their parents. I think most notable is in the photos is the fact that sure, children like to play outside and they like to be barefoot and they can get dirty. But these children were found outside in the evening on a 38-degree night with inappropriate clothing. Their arms were bare, their ears were bare, their feet were bare.
Yeah, that testimony was special too. You don't. I've raised some kids. You don't ask children what they want to do. That's not how you do it. You're older. You tell them how it's going to be done. That's it.
Skin was red and reflecting that they were cold. And the disarray, I don't even know how to word this. I don't know the adjective to use to describe that backyard and where they were playing. None of that is appropriate for children and surely poses a substantial risk of harm to their physical health and emotional and mental well-being. Deputy Rincon's concerns were so severe that he had asked the prosecuting attorney to consider child abuse charges, something that we don't always see in response to domestic violence disputes. Per Mr. King's own testimony, he was aware of these conditions. Clearly, he just testified they'd been living there for a month and a half. And his testimony was very scattered between all of the questions that we've asked. And so it's very hard to piece together what actually happened in his mind in the situation. If we were to take the fact that he was living in this property for the last month and a half with his children, before they were removed, we're talking about October through November 21st, during which time there was a complaint for his partner abusing his oldest child, and a no contact order from a domestic dispute in July was also in place. So whether there's complete disregard for court orders is up for question, and whether he fully can protect his children is also up for question. If he's continuing to allow someone who pushed his child in a hospital room and his child hit his head to continue to be with this child. We know that there was also his inability to follow a court order for custody. He refused to return that child to the biological and legal mother who shared legal custody, but I believe also had sole physical. And the concerning part of all of this is that Mr. King testified, it is his responsibility as a parent to safeguard the children. He failed to do so. He failed to take the necessary steps to safeguard them, and has placed that blame and deflected upon everyone else. We've collectively in this room have been called you all, despite there only being 2 CPS workers, 2 department heads. This is not Community Action Agency. This is not CMH. This is the department, solely the child welfare system. In that, he has not taken responsibility for himself or for his children. There are several options that could have happened. And additionally, the other concerning part here is that this family is not a stranger to CPS and the services offered. This family had an ongoing case in 2023. Mr. King in his testimony said he had 60 to 70 classes between domestic violence and anger management and parenting. And if that's true, then what we're seeing here is a lack of benefit from those services.
What's the shot at Gen X here? I'm Gen X. You think I'm a Karen? You think I'm a snowflake? Seriously?
We have a parent who struggles to adapt to society's norms, and that might be okay if he were successfully able to manage his own needs and his family's needs. But he's placed the blame on others, including Miss Miller, and it's her fault because she needs mental help. And yet he has stayed and continues to want to work on that relationship, and he's subjected his children to this environment of chaos and disarray. It is clear that these children at the time the petition was filed were physically neglected, and we're at a substantial risk of harm as relates to the physical and mental well-being. And Mr. King, as a legally responsible parent, failed to ensure their safety and well-being in that situation. Mr. Anna, we are asking the court to find that there is a preponderance of the evidence.
Okay. The chat's weighed in. Apparently, just call me Karen Snowflake. I didn't know till today, but I accept it.
And that we have better standard here, our burden of proof, and to take personal jurisdiction over Mr. King and move on to a dispositional phase. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks?
Counsel says she can't my client hasn't been able to explain what's gone wrong that resulted in us being involved here. Let me help. The relationship between he and the mother's children deteriorated for reasons I don't know. Hopefully he's going to get over that, move on. He has never said he thought the living situation that the officer took a photographs of is an appropriate place to live. Now, nobody's claimed he tried to keep those kids there during winter months. It was 38 degrees, it was too cold. Backyard was not an appropriate place to live.
He's doing it again. I mean, I don't have a personal problem with this guy. I've never seen him before this case. But that's a horrible argument. Nobody is claiming that he's trying to keep them there during winter months. The testimony is uncontroverted that he is keeping them there during winter months. Why would you make that argument? Why? It's silly on its face.
He is doing his best to come up with a conventional, safe, comfortable home for his 3 children. And he's getting some problems associated with the local township government. As a lawyer, I've run across that numerous times with zoning issues. But
as a snowflake Karen, I would like to tell you that the zoning issues is not the problem.
Knows what the proper standards are to raise his kids. He's described to you what life was like before his kids were taken. They were getting appropriate meals from him and from the kid's mother. And as for all of the other stuff, well, some of that violence business, you heard directly the testimony yourself not even a week ago from her point of view, which doesn't jive with what the allegations in the petition say.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Your sentence doesn't parse. Let's start there. Then we'll move on to referring to the violence business. Your argument doesn't flow, number one. Number two, to the extent that you're characterizing the situation, it's unfavorable to your client. I don't understand it.
I asked that the court take that into consideration, not to say that today you need to bring those kids home today because he's still working on that house. Let's get the house the way it needs to be. Let's get DHHS out there, take a look. And when that's all said and done, assuming they say that thing is up to snuff, then return those 3 kids to their dad. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, based on the testimony provided by Mr. King as well as the arguments made by Mr. Brooks, I think it's clear that there's admissions that at least one of the allegations in the petition are true. Mr. King's admitted that the living conditions at the time the petition was filed were not appropriate for children, and that they shouldn't be living in tents. However, he again testified to the fact that they were. Mr. King and his domestic partner both have incomes that should go toward providing housing or other type of stability for the children. However, it's clear that that was not happening at the time the petition was filed. And we have a situation here where there have been several attempts and several efforts made by the department.
Am I the only one who, when she said Mr. King and his domestic partner, thought I didn't know there was another guy involved here? I mean, I'm sorry, that's what I thought.
To avoid removing the children. However, ongoing struggles with domestic violence, not only between the parties, but between children and parties, continue to occur, which put all of the children in an unreasonable risk of harm. So not only their actual physical living conditions that were inappropriate, but again, the domestic violence in the home has clearly been a risk of harm for those children. And Mr. King also testified that, again, he and Ms. Miller both need help, that they need resources yet, and they're unable to provide the things that their children need. So again, that's an admission that jurisdiction is appropriate in this case. If there is a preponderance of the evidence that at least one of the allegations, if not more, and the petition are true, and that does violate the juvenile code, I would ask that Your Honor find that there is a preponderance, continue to have the children in the care of their current placement, and then we move into the dispositional phase. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's adjudication hearing. I do find that there has been a preponderance of the evidence shown that there was a violation of the statute in this case, in that Dustin King is the parent legally responsible for the care and maintenance of all 4 children and did neglect or refuse to provide proper or necessary support. That includes housing, education, self-care, care for the children, medical care for the children by his own admissions. He and the family were living in a tent in the backyard, that they had educational supports in the past, but that they were not receiving them at the time of the removal of the children. It was uncontested that where they were living was dangerous. In a tent in the backyard, Deputy Rincon testified and took photos that were provided to the court that substantiated that the area in which the children were living was unprotected, excepting for dangerous amounts of trash and other items. They were clearly unkempt, dirty, not well provided for. The photograph, one of the photographs where I can see both of the children's feet, they are.
Agreed. A lot of this is making me crazy. Again, not in a real way. Whatever. I'll forget about it 30 seconds after we're done. But it's making me crazy. But I will say the judge is not one of them. The judge is on top of things, very professional, very to the point, and is not missing anything. And that is saving my sanity.
There's a propane tank within the vicinity of the child. For example, it's very clear that the conditions of the child at the time of the removal, the children at the time of the removal, were absolutely abysmal, to be perfectly frank. By Mr. King's testimony, he spoke today to the fact that the children used to be able to use silverware and used to be able to speak and use their words. And by that admission, he's admitting that at the time of the removal, that the children were effectively being kept in the backyard, living in a tent, perhaps not even as well taken care of as some people provide for their animals, to be perfectly honest. He claims that a reason for this is because he had at one point said an altered mind. He claimed to be on disability for Munchausen's, mental retardation, autism, prostate hernia, and also leukemia at one point. His testimony was tangentially related to the questions at best. He seemed to have a good memory of some things and or others. And then at times, what he wanted to testify to, he was very specific about. But when questions were put to him about the conditions of the children or some of the issues arising around this case, all of a sudden he was not able to connect his answers. He reversed the dynamic in many cases. At one point, very aggressively responding to one of Ms. Underwood's questions to indicate that clearly, if she were to be asking any more difficult questions, he was not going to be tolerating that. Was the communication and the information that I obtained here. On a regular basis, he spoke out, including just a moment ago, indicating that he is not interested in participating in an orderly presentation of the court case. And it also demonstrates, frankly, the dynamics that are a danger to the children in the home. These are power and control tactics that were utilized today in the response to the questions, manipulation of the answers, the manipulation of the questioning, his responses, his physical behaviors and actions. It all indicates further support for a violation of the statute and does answer a lot of the question as to
It sure does. Go judge.
why the children were found in the condition and the state that they were found in at the time of their removal. All of that certainly does present a substantial risk of harm to each of the children's mental and physical well-being. So there are two main aspects of the statute that have been violated. The second is the home or environment by reason of neglect, cruelty, drunkenness, criminality, and depravity on the part of Mr. King is an unfit place for the children to live at this time. I also find that there's a risk to their mental harm as well as their physical harm. And I am taking personal jurisdiction over Mr. King. Issues including analysis of mental health, emotional health, employment, transportation, housing will all need to be addressed in order to allow Mr. King to demonstrate that he's able to not only provide a physical home for his children, but also that he is safe to be around to avoid domestic violence dynamics, aggression dynamics, and many of the other unfortunate and very dangerous patterns that present in the household as this court sees them today. I have availability, I would like to say, at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, February 4th, for purposes of the initial disposition. The children will remain placed under the discretion of placement within DHHS, pending further proceedings, given all of the findings of the court today and the lack of any progress around any of those issues between the date of the filing of the petition and today.
Time?
11 a.m. Tuesday, February 4th.
February 4th at 11 o'clock.
Yes. All right, unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Ah, there you go. There you go. We made it. We made it. And the judge saved me from losing my mind. God bless her for it. In fact, I think we all need to cleanse. We all need to cleanse because that was a little annoying. So I think the only thing to do is play.
You know what? I sure love those muffin tops.
I think that helps me a lot right there. That's my therapy. One other thing that might help. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. We'll take you out with a little Thunderdome Beaver. Thanks for coming.
Friday night. I'm in a mood. Definitely don't you out, dude. I'm just not feeling it. I'm telling you straight. Oh wait. Is this case great? I think I know this guy. He's back again. This is gonna be good times, my friend. Your Honor, I apologize camouflage for how I fled the scene. I just had to get out of the Thunderdome, if you know what I mean. I was in a little pain my first time in the court, but I'm back with my complaint of a very special sort. There's an infestation, Judge, it's truly hard to bear. There's a critter in my trailer and it's living under there. Is it a mole? Is it a rat? He just doesn't know, but it's bigger than a cat. Mike says, is this the guy? The beaver mole guy. He was crazy the first time, oh my, oh my. A beaver infestation is no laughing matter, but this whole dang story just gets madder and madder. The court sent an inspector to check the holes and poop, but he was hired by Mr. Weasel and I'm in a feedback loop. He's my next door neighbor, he's not insured at all. He owns another trailer park, he really has the gall. It's a major conflict of interest, it's totally absurd. He's the burglar investigating himself, take my word. Oh my God, Mike just can't breathe. A landlord inspector hired by Mr. Weasel. You won't believe it's a good thing I didn't start cocktailing before this one. The beaver mole guy is just way too much fun. The judge says, where's the escrow? The rent for November. He says, oh, I just forgot. I didn't remember, but I got it, Judge. Don't worry, the money is secure, but the inspector's report is clearly perjury for sure. I was not prepared for this denial of reality. I'm talking point number 17 specifically. Is it a mole? Is it a rat? He just doesn't know, but it's bigger than a cat. Mike says, is this the guy? The beaver mole guy. He was crazy the first time, oh my, oh my. A beaver infestation is no laughing matter, but this whole dang story just gets madder and madder. The judge said, hold on, son, I'm getting quite confused. We were talking giant beavers, now I feel a bit abused. He says, my trailer's closest to the woodline and the lake. That's where the big beaver-like thing gave me a shake. But the skirting's done, so now I know the deal. The baseboards are ground zero, that's what's real. This is one of my favorite cases. I'll say it before it's over. I might have to make a song about this beaver-loving rover. So, y'all behave yourselves, stay out of trouble, don't get hurt. And for the love of God, don't call me, I'm on alert. Just take a damn Uber and leave me all alone with Mr. Weasel and the beaver from the Thunderdome.